but I wondered if you would just start off with telling the people watching a little bit about yourselves, about your background and what work you've done so far. So, John, would you mind starting one off?
Sure. I'm John Lees. Hello. I am a comic book writer based out of Glasgow, as you might be able to tell from the accent. I've done a whole bunch of comics. I've been writing for maybe about a little over a decade now. Whenever I've been doing this introduction, I used to say I've been writing for a few years. Like over time, it actually became, oh my god, I've been writing. The books I'm probably best known for are And Then Emily Was Gone, which was a kind of like Scottish mystery horror set in Orkney with Ian Laurie. And Mountainhead, as you can see on the graphic here, which is a kind of snowbound psychological thriller, which I did with Ryan Lee for IDW. And most recently, I've picked up an audience for a book called Hotell, which is a anthology horror series set in this old roadside hotel off Route 66. I do that with AWA Studios with the very talented Dalbor Taleich. And with Alex here, I do a comic called Sink, which is another anthology series. It is a kind of crime / horror / action / occasional rom-com set in this nightmarish
rom-com's pushing it a little.
maybe a rom-com, I should be saying. But set in this nightmarish district of Glasgow called Sink Hill. And that was probably my biggest breakout hit at the time. Like, people really seemed to enjoy that. It's had 2 volumes released, with volume 3 coming out later this year, and just coming up, the Kickstarter just finished, and the book's coming out next month. A one shot called Dig, which focuses on one of the main characters in Sink, a fox masked, shovel wielding vigilante.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you very much, John. So just to touch on some of those pieces of work there, as I'm getting older, I've moved away from traditional superhero, Marvel, DC kind of stuff, and I'm getting more into the horror and the more creepy side of things. And I met you at Thought Bubble last year, which is a UK convention, and I picked up all 3 of these books from you, and you kindly signed them for us. And I just fell in love. I have to say, I absolutely fell in love, and I've stalked you on Instagram ever since.
Well, I'm really glad, because first, no refunds, but but second, like, it's really nice, and people like take a chance and stuff like that, and they enjoy it, and it resonates with them. So that's really appreciated.
So I love all 3 of those. I have to say, Hotell is one of my favorites. I am a big fan of, you'll have heard of Ice Cream Man, no doubt. And I think when I reviewed Hotell on my channel, I said that I felt Hotell was streets ahead of Ice Cream Man. I just loved how the story came together. And I don't want to.
I don't know if I'd say that. I mean, I do love Ice Cream Man.
I love Ice Cream Man as well. But the story for this just gripped me, and I love the way there were bits in issue 1, and I have to say, I scratched my head and thought, have I missed something? Have I missed a section here? Because there's like characters in the background on fire, and I don't know what's going on there. But then as the story progresses, you realize it all interlinks. So I love that. I'm going to put you on the spot, John. Then Emily Was Gone. Was she a changeling in the end? Because I was totally, I wasn't.
Right, okay, I'm actually going to take a page from Ian Laurie here, where in 2014, me and Ian both went to New York Comic Con. It was the year, like, And Then Emily Was Gone was first coming out, and the interest was at its most hot at the time. And we were actually sitting in a bar after the show, and this guy recognized us and came up to us and was like, "Oh, I really love And Then Emily Was Gone. But you have to tell me what happened in the story, like, like what happened at the end of the story. I don't get it. Like, you have to explain it to me." So Ian paused for a second and said, "Well, what do you think happened?" And this guy kind of gave this wee explanation as well. I think it was this. I can't even remember what his answer was, but he kind of like re-put together what he thought had happened and made some sense. Like, this is, I think. And he went, "Well, that's what happened then." So whatever you think happened, like, that's what happened in the end.
So, okay, then. So the end of that book then was that she was crazy and she set fire to her best friend. Is how
that is certainly a way you could interpret it.
Yeah. But I mean, I
spoiler alert for an 8-year-old book, but
yeah. I mean, I love the fact that it is left to the interpretation. Have you ever been tempted to go back to that character, that storyline?
to be honest, there has been conversations and things like, very loose about like, what would it be like to do more NMO was gone, and especially because obviously like it's probably not much of a secret the big North Star for like an NMO was gone in terms of influence was Twin Peaks. So around the time like the Twin Peaks The Return came out, me and Ian were talking about what would like an NMO was gone The Return look like, and I'm sure Ian actually posted up online like some like drawings. I think it was called an Emily Return, and it was like various like concept art of like what a far future storyline would look like. But I think beyond that speculation and playing around, I kind of feel like it ended at the perfect point.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't really be interested in doing more. I think I'd be much more interested in doing another story with Ian, which was like a thematic successor to an Emily was gone, without necessarily being like a direct sequel. That'd probably be where my interest would lie.
Yeah. Tremendous. It's a superb book. I really recommend people go and pick that one up.